Now that nothing happened with the towel guy.
Also unsurprising.
Yeah, I think now you just sit back and wait until he settles everything. You find out what the suspension's going to be, and then you trade him. I'd wait till the price goes back up.
Well, yeah, now there's really no downside unless you were going to get a surefire first-round pick last night. I mean, his trade value right now, we all look at it as about 0. So if he improves it any, you'll take that. And the truth is, anything that you trade him for, if they had traded for, let's say they traded for a first-rounder last night, all you're doing is taking 1 year of that guy's 5 years and basically lighting it on fire. Because the Texans aren't going to be competitive next year, no matter what, no matter who they took with that pick. If they had the 3rd pick in the draft and they took Trey Lance or Mac Jones or Justin Fields or whoever, all you would be doing is lighting one of that guy's 5 years on fire. And you've heard what I've said about quarterbacks. I want these guys on rookie deals, which means you don't really have time to waste.
See, I don't think it's as simple as lighting a year on fire, because if you're drafting a quarterback like that, year one, you're not going to be a contender. I mean, I don't think the 49ers are Super Bowl contenders with Trey Lance year one.
I don't know that Trey Lance is going to play year one.
Well, that's my point. You're burning a year, right?
You are, but the 49ers also have a team.
But let me finish. You can use that as a developmental year for a guy like that. You get them out there, they learn the game, so that when you get players around them, they're better.
Oh, like the Texans did with David Carr, you mean? You throw him out there with a bunch of trash cans and just hope for the best?
Let's go back to a 2002 expansion team.
Is it going to be any different?
Apt.
Look at the team they've got now. It is apt.
No, it's not. They actually have an offensive line, which they did not have back then.
Oh, boy, you with this offensive line.
Come on, you're going to seriously compare what they have now to the expansion team with the Seth Wands
They've got
of the world.
worst roster in the league, Fred.
They do have the worst roster in the league, but the offensive line is not it.
Okay, so there's one thing. What receivers is he throwing to?
He's throwing to Brandon Cooks, who had 1,000 yards last year.
All right. Well, hell, the Texans are going to be good again,
no,
right, Fred?
Nobody's saying they're going to be good.
Well, stop acting like they don't have this is not a good spot to develop a quarterback. This team is not a good team to put out a young quarterback with. There's no way you can think that.
Depends on the quarterback. Some guys need that year to develop. Okay. I mean, honestly, you act like sitting them a year is okay, but drafting on a bad team and letting them play is not. What's the difference? You're burning a year. The 49ers are burning a year. What the hell is the difference?
Because presumably with the 49ers, year 2, they will already be contenders. Because the 49ers, they're damn near contenders with Jimmy Garoppolo today.
Yeah, I think they are if they stay healthy. Last year was a disaster.
So the Texans, no matter what happens this year, it's not like they're contending next year.
They're not. They're a long way from that. But again, I don't understand.
For this to work, for this using young quarterbacks and letting them graduate thing to work, you have to at some point build up a roster and then drop a guy into it, drop a quarterback into it.
No, I get that, but I'm not following that strategy. I'm also saying if you're going to draft a quarterback high and your team, every team, hell, the Bengals suck, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was a developmental year for Burrow. Didn't get a chance to play the whole thing because he got hurt. Because guess what? They didn't protect him. But I mean, you benefit from that. Now, by the end of like 4 or 5 of that contract, if they're going to be good, if he's good, then that's your window. You're never going to have more than a 2-year window with any of these cats under your deal that you're doing, unless you do it right. Which, again, it doesn't have to be 5 years. It can be 7 if you do it right. So that's not enough of a window for a quarterback?
No, it is.
Okay.
But like I said.
So like realistically, and we know they're not going to be good in 7 years because they have the dumbest owner in the league. They have a wombat for a GM, and they got a Jesus guy running around. But theoretically, a team in 7 years with an elite quarterback could be good enough to contend for a Super Bowl.
Possibly.
Even if you drafted him this year. So theoretically, if you have somebody who knows what they're doing.
But does it not make more sense to build the rest of the team and then drop a quarterback into a ready-made situation?
If you can. I mean, a lot of it depends on when you're drafting that high, and especially the price you have to pay to get up there. But, like, look at the Jets. Would they have been better off not taking Zach Wilson and taking Penny Sewell to have another tackle?
Probably.
Maybe. But theoretically, now the Jets, much like the Texans.
Well, the Jets did draft a left tackle a year ago.
Yeah, but the rest of their offensive line is pretty much garbage. They could use another one. They could use a guard. They could use more on defense.
They could use a lot of things.
Yeah, you could have taken Kyle Pitts. But if you're the Jets, you don't assume you're going to be picking that high next year.
Well, I mean,
you have to assume you're
picking the top 10 every year.
I know that.
It's safe to assume at some point that's what you are.
But
it's like the Lions. When are we going to pick in the top 10 again? Well, next year. I mean, and then the year after, and the year after.
But the problem with teams like that is they don't think that. They think they're going to turn it around. And you know what? And that's why. I'm not using the Texans as an example here, but I would say if they'd had that pick, then you take Trey Lance, because there's not, to me, a big difference between him sitting out a year and him getting out there and playing for a year. You're going to waste at least 1 or 2 years, no matter where you go with these cats.
I think a lot smarter thing to do for the Texans would have been to trade out of that pick.
I agree,
and end up with a Patrick Surtain and more first round picks next year.
Yeah, now that I would have been totally fine with.
Getting a developmental quarterback at that, and throwing him into this mess does him no favors, not a single favor.
But maybe
to develop.
But maybe you do the same thing that the 49ers theoretically do, and you don't play him next year. You just teach him. That's why I'm saying it's not any different.
Well, except the 49ers have a genius head coach. And
a good GM, and they have a good team, and they know what they're doing.
And the Texans have a first-year head coach, a GM who is a puppet. Let's put it nicely.
He's a wombat. He's a wombat. That's what he is. And Cal McNair's sitting up there with his finger up his nose. Hey, we're going to win the Super Bowl for Houston. And one fish, two fish is over there blue fishing it. Get him the hell out of here. Get him the hell out of here.
Shout out to the fish.
It's a Blitz on ESPN 97.5, 92.5.